for the good of ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Legitimately for the good of ball. College football had some massive things take place, including a firing of LSU's Brian Kelly, which obviously I don't think anybody could have seen coming from the moment he was hired at LSU.
Yeah.
Now, on that note, good football coach. Okay, good football coach. I obviously played at West Virginia whenever he was coaching at Cincinnati.
Yep.
Then obviously he goes to Notre Dame, has success there. Goes to LSU. He's good, wins a lot of his games, but I don't think anybody at any point, and we weren't as baptized into the college football world at the time of him being hired at LSU as we are now. Could you imagine our reaction now if Brian Kelly would have got hired at LSU? I mean, we would have, that's almost, I mean, his family thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
From immediately was
the photos.
And I don't want to mock him because if I speak to some Southern people, I will certainly slow that down a little bit to them. So I don't want to judge him for it. But was it ever going to work? You know?
Never felt like a great fit. It never did.
And he's walking out of there with 50-some million, potential negotiated buyout happening currently, allegedly, if you're listening to reports. And now LSU's wide open. Florida.
I thought it was going to work. I did. Maybe it's because, like you said, the Big East days, been in Cincinnati. He was a good coach in Notre Dame, but the thing was like, oh, he'll never be able to get the guys.
Yeah, you didn't have the players. Couldn't get the
win
players.
the Natty, and then you go to LSU, which the three previous coaches before him all won national championships, right? So I didn't think, Brian Kelly was just a slappy. I thought he was a good football coach. Thought it would work out. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, Heisman, you're going to have the talent. There's a bunch of Louisiana guys in the NFL. There are going to be a bunch of 5-stars in that state. But now that's probably the best college job available right now.
On that note, Tone Diggs, college football author, put out a poll. Best job, LSU, Florida, or Penn State? LSU, now we are from Pittsburgh. We have a lot of Big Ten, obviously, ties with our program because of our location here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Mm-hmm. We thought maybe Penn State would get a little bit of a leaner here. LSU is kind of what everybody's saying. Mm-hmm. LSU is saying, hey, this is an incredible job. 3 out of the last 4 coaches won national championships there at LSU with the amount of talent. Florida, obviously, the state of Florida, always going to be good. Penn State has all the resources in the world and a lot of history. Were you surprised that LSU won this poll on your Twitter account by the wide margin that it did?
By the wide margin, yes. Was I surprised that they won? No. I thought it would be a little more closer, a little more 30% for everyone. But, just like D-Bud said, and you talk about the last 3 coaches who were there all win a national championship. They all talk about the recruiting base down there, and you don't have to, compete with those other Florida schools when you're in at a school like Florida situation. Yes, Penn State probably has the most money, but when you put everything together, yeah, LSU is the spot.
Yeah, obviously this is the storyline right now is the amount of buyouts, and then there's reports now. These are just the head coaches' buyouts, let alone all the assistant coaches and everything like that. What schools and teams and organizations are willing to do to try to win a national championship, especially with the amount of money that is being invested in these teams and in these programs, it's crazy times. The reason why Brian Kelly was fired is because Texas A&M went in there and absolutely crushed them. Yeah. Texas A&M might be best team in country. There's a few of those teams. So Vandy gets a huge win over Missouri. That is gigantic for their program. Obviously, all eyes were in Nashville on this Vanderbilt team. And Diego Pavia, Coach Clark Lee, and the boys showed up in a big way, get a huge win over Missouri with the eyes and the pressure of the world upon them. Now, they thought maybe, with Alabama a couple weeks back, they weren't able to beat them. Mm-hmm. This was going to be another game. They weren't going to be able to prove who they are. Diego Pavia and the boys get a huge win. Congrats to them. And then Ole Miss beats Oklahoma. I picked Oklahoma on game day, AJ, because Mateer was back and what we saw from them earlier in the year. And the Oklahoma defense is so damn good. Venables, the reason why he's the head coach at Oklahoma is because of how damn good his defense is. Then you add in the weather. It's like, well, you would think Oklahoma would be able to pound them here. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss wouldn't be able to handle it all. Instead, yeah, right, Ole Miss, huge win. Win it, Dad, is what they're calling the quarterback and the head coach of that team. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously football coaching legend, Lane Kiffin.
Yeah!
I picked Oklahoma. That's 100% on me, Coach. I apologize for that. I should have known that you guys are exactly who you've said you are. Dogs willing to go into anywhere, any environment, and win. What did you learn from your team with this Oklahoma win, and how do you feel about where you guys sit at this moment of college football?
Well, you helped motivate us, Pat, just so you know. There's a lot of talk on the bus about this pick of yours and everybody picking against us. SEC Nation, every single person picked against us. I don't know if anybody picked it. Laura Rutledge's daughter picked us. Is the only person that I heard.
Okay. We appreciate Laura Rutledge's daughter having a forecast of it all. But you do draw from that, I assume. You pull from that type of stuff with your team whenever you're motivating. And what did you see from your team in the win over Oklahoma?
Well, those guys see that stuff, so I don't know how much that works. Trinidad mentioned it. He's like, because he thought like you and him were boys, because you FaceTime on the bus normally for games, like, a big game, like LSU you did. And then all of a sudden you jumped off and you picked Georgia. We lost to Georgia. And then
that was strictly business.
They told me all you did was talk about Oklahoma's quarterback, how great he was going to play. So, so thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Whoa. I love Trinidad. I mean, I heard Winnidad for the first time. I love the name.
Fire.
I love everything about him. But I didn't know enough about him, is what I think. And now, Mateer, I learned quickly about him. So that's 100% on me. Please tell Trinidad that I apologize for not knowing enough about his game. That's on me. That's on me.
Yeah, guess who's hanging out right here?
What's that?
You can tell him yourself.
Whoa.
Winnidad?
Winnidad! Hey, love you, man. I absolutely love you, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm part of the problem here, Winnidad. I just want to let you know, that's on me not having enough belief in you. I didn't understand the amount of dog that was in you, Trinidad. That's 100% on me. How do you feel, brother? And also, I love that you want to check me for this. It makes me like you even more in it all, Trinidad.
Appreciate you, Pat. Feeling good after the win, man. Oklahoma, that was a tough team, but we found a way to win, so it was good.
Now, Trinidad, I heard, because you're play in front of a lot of people and maybe the weather's bad, that you were going to be ass. Now, everybody around you says that's not who you are at all. Mental tough guy from Michigan. What do we maybe not know enough about you and this team that maybe some of the doubters don't know, Trinidad?
I mean, that we find ways to win. All season, we've had a pretty good season so far. Against Georgia, then wasn't the outcome that we wanted, but versus Oklahoma, we bounced back, and coach was excited to see how we would bounce back, and just happy that we got the win. Really.
Congrats, Winnidad. What a name!
Hell yeah!
What a name! Great to see you, brother. Congrats on a huge win, and the entire world needs to know your story. This dude comes from Ferris State. Okay, becomes a dog, goes to Ole Miss, gets thrust into action, doesn't miss a beat, and that's why they don't call him Truzidad. They call him Trinidad because all this guy does is win at that down there. Congrats, Trinidad.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, man. Okay, now, since he's a little bit too close, so I don't want to add any.
Yeah, he's out now. Back to film study. Got to grind.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me.
Don't worry, I'm like you, man. I keep him down too.
Yeah, that's a
The
whole.
one he missed. We should have won by 3 scores in that game if he would have done everything he should.
Okay, well, wait till the rat poison I'm about to pour on your entire team for the rest of this entire thing. Trinidad just walking into that interview for us, so cool. Very, very thankful for that. But on that note, we just talked about the big story coming out of this weekend. Not you guys getting a huge win over Oklahoma. Not Vandy, obviously, solidifying being a powerhouse at this point with all eyes on them getting a huge win over Missouri. The big story is, obviously, another coach fired at a massive place. Your name gets brought up for all of these things. How do you handle that with team? How do you talk about it? Because, obviously, you said they see everything. What is your kind of, communication with the team as all of this kind of is happening around you, Coach?
Yeah, I usually don't talk about it with the team because we've dealt with this for a number of years because our players have performed really well and won a lot of games here. And so this attention has come with that. I just thought last week it was important late in the week to address it on Friday just because we have so many new players. So they hadn't been here, the year or the year before that where, these job rumors and stuff would come up. And so I just told them, hey, this is a product of how you guys play is why they see the way that you play. So then people are like, fans are like, we want that system. And they say coach, but really it's the system of the players and the assistant coaches and what a good job they do. So I just told them that's a compliment to them. And I think it's easier for them nowadays because remember, basically the same thing happens to them. They have a good game. What happens? Our freshman receiver has a good game Saturday night. He's got 3 calls from places telling him, hey, come here, we'll give you more money, pre-portaling, before the portal opens. That's what happens. And so they deal with this all the time, places saying, oh, come here, you'll get more money because they're performing well. So I don't think it's that big a deal to them.
So you feel like the modern athlete a little bit more entrepreneurial, kind of understand the hype and also the amount of kind of extra shit that could take place because they've been born and raised in it? Is that kind of how you feel about it?
Yeah, and like I said, it happens to them where before that would never happen in college. So the player, wouldn't have any examples of that in his own life where it happens to them.
Got it.
And a lot of our guys were portaled to come here. And so they're used to that now. It's just kind of the world that they live in.
Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, Coach, I would imagine like behind the scenes, you're a product of your own success. Obviously, it's a big compliment to you and your team that everybody wants to bring you in your system. But I would imagine there are a lot of like parents that see these reports and call in and wonder what's going on with their kid on the roster. Also recruits. Like, do you have to work on behind the scenes stuff all the time when things like this come up?
Probably not as much as you think, just because, like I said, it's happened before. So guys on our roster, parents, they're familiar with it. And so not as much as you think. And in recruiting, we just talk about the product that we put, the positions that we put them into play, and the success that we've had here. So we don't deal with it near as much as you would think.
Yeah, I think this era and this generation, just kind of understands it a lot more than maybe back in the day because we've been exposed to more of that. Now, on that note, you are different and operate differently than everybody else, I think, which is why so many people in so many schools are interested. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yeah, absolutely. We know from the outside looking in, we can't hear all the shit talk going on between the lines or maybe even on the sideline. There was some interaction with you and an Oklahoma player after the game. What kind of happened before the cameras caught you before you got to that interview?
Here it is, actually. Hold on one second, Coach.
Oh, are you talking a little bit to Oklahoma's players?
This guy yelled at me like during the game like 5 times how great they were, and we can't score on them.
Yeah, I love that. Obviously, no other coach is doing that, Lane. So obviously incredible. What was that? How was that? How did we get to that point?
Well, that happens a lot, I think, with me and players and interaction and during the game, especially defensive players. A lot of times they'll say things to me in warmups. I don't know. Maybe they view me as different as other coaches. They kind of talk to me like they do a player. So I embrace it, probably because I give it to them sometimes too. And so he'd said a lot during the game, when he's on my sideline, you look at me like, you ain't going to score all day, So I really wasn't trying to do it on camera. And interesting enough, I've had a number of players transfer over the years that said, hey, one of the reasons was we loved the way that you interacted with us on the other side during the game, and we wanted to play for a coach like that. So I think our players actually love it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, listen, I talk shit to you. You immediately fired back. I told everybody, this guy's awesome. I don't know how.
SBA.
Yeah, that is Bruce Arians. That is literally Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians, same exact thing. Like during practices, offense coordinator, defense, talking shit to each other. Players love it. I like that you still have that in you, throughout this entire process of evolving of who you are and becoming this person at this stage of your life that maybe is different than the old past. Like that you still got your edge. Now, on that note, your team seemingly has great edge. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Coach, I understand, anything can happen on any given Saturday, but you guys are pretty much through the real teeth of your conference schedule right now, and I don't think you really need any extra motivation to get up when you're playing teams like Alabama or Georgia or LSU, take your pick. But how do you avoid kind of the letdown when down the stretch here you have, some of these teams from the bottom half of the SEC who, if you're not coming in prepared, obviously anybody can get got on any Saturday?
Yeah, they can. There's examples all over the place of it, and in college football. But the SEC now is really the NFL. You look at these games; so many games are one score, or now you got so many teams going to overtime to beat teams that they were, supposedly much better than.
Jeez.
So that's what we're in. That's the world we're in, and so we got to get up every single week and tell guys about that. And this is a really good example. This is an extremely talented South Carolina team. This is a off the charts talented quarterback that can beat you. And so we're going to have to be ready to play. I mean, these guys are ahead of Alabama just, a few days ago. And Alabama's a great team. So, this is what we're in. We're in the NFL and the SEC, and you better be ready every week.
I love to hear that mentality, and that's good, Coach. And once again, why your name is up for every single job that's available and will be forever, and you having to lock in and continue to do your job in the SEC while still trying to make playoffs and win championships. Crazy thing for you coaches to deal with, especially with the numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers we're all hearing about, Lano. Listen, Brian Kelly could be a professional golfer next 6 years, getting paid $50. No. Okay, so you guys have earned it, obviously. Good for the state, good for the program. Tone has a last question for you here, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, I do. I was wondering if you have a chance on Sundays to witness what Jaxson Dart is doing, and if any of it surprises you, because his moxie and everything feels like it's perfect for New York, and he's been off to a great start.
Well, right before I go to that, what Pat said there, just so you know, because you haven't known me very long, Pat, I have never made a decision based off of money, nor will I. And
love that.
For a lot of people, they're just like, well, money and it does this and does that. I've seen too many examples in life where money does not buy happiness. So I am never going to make a decision off of money, nor do I care about it. And
it's good to have.
Jimmy Sexton gets really mad when I say that.
He's got enough.
We got to get this. We got to get this. And I'm like, Jimmy, I don't care. And he goes, I do.
He said, that's why I'm here. Of course.
Yeah.
That is why I'm here. But
to the Jaxson, he's awesome. He's my only other FaceTime guy. He FaceTimes me too, so most people just call. Pat and Jaxson, they're big FaceTime guys.
I want to see.
Good to know.
Jaxson, after his big win 2 weeks ago, the next morning he FaceTimed me, and I was in the quarterback meeting, and he was in bed, and I said, this was really weird. I do not need FaceTimes from you, until you get up and start moving around. So he's just such a cool kid, and he's so competitive, and everybody just feeds off it. So I'm just so happy to see, just like you would be as a dad. Like my own son just had 2 comebacks in the last 2 games. Jaxson to play like that, I feel like I'm watching a son. I'm just so happy for him.
Congrats to Knox. We've been following along on the internet with that incredible high school run. They're on throwbacks and toss-ups, and congrats to you. We appreciate the hell out of you, Coach.
All right, guys, have a great week, and make sure you do not pick us this week, Pat, please.
No, don't do that, because people continue to hate me. You're Lane Kiffin. Before we get out of here, AJ, I think this would be a good time to let the world know on how great of a human Nick Mangold was, and everything like that. Honestly, I didn't want to put you on a spot, but I think hearing from friends and beloved ones is a good thing for his legacy. AJ, you've obviously known him a long time. Just a couple of words that people need to know about him.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Nick was the man. Like, I was nervous, to even think about coming on here and talking about him. But yeah, I grew up with the dude, a college roommate for 4 straight years. Unbelievable player, but yeah, just there's no one else like him on the planet. Super unique dude. Looking back, seeing pictures of us playing together in 6th grade, every college memory I have is with Nick. This was high school actually, by the way. You see, Nick is smiling in every single picture you ever see of him, pretty much. The dude is. Look at him right here. Are you kidding me? I remember during this game we're playing. Nick was so big, country strong. I'm blitzing.
'Cause I'm in shoo 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 shoo.
Gemini, which of these would be a little